Yo, what's good? What's good? I'm back. The one, the only. Yours truly, Miss Queen, Lady Shay Butter in the building. Back at you with a quick message from me for you. For you, from me. Allow the resignation for that digestation to accumulate more for another round of marination. The chance of choice. If you listen to me, right, if you heard any of my videos, if you heard me speak live and in person or live here on this platform, you've always heard me say one thing for sure, repeatedly, which is we all have choices, right? We all have choices. And because we all have choices, we all have a chance to choose what we want, what we don't want, what we need, what we don't need, what we like, or what we don't like. And so, me being me, right? Me living life, right? Me taking the time to choose certain moments of experience to dig in just a little bit more, just a little bit stronger, just a little bit deeper into who I really am, right? Or who I'm really becoming, I should say, right? And at certain times in life, you gotta sit back, right? You gotta sit back and say, hold up, wait a minute. What's really going on? What's really going down? What's really happening, right? Therefore, your chances, your choices will always be what? Beneficial, right? They will always be beneficial to you, for you, right? So, currently, right? Currently in time, I'm sitting back, right? Currently in time, I'm analyzing, right? Currently in time, I'm configuring, coordinating, and analyzing. And I ain't even gonna lie, got into a little pickle, right? Got into a little, should I say debate? Should I use that word? Oh, I'm living life, living life. So, I'm still here. I'm still here. How have you been? How is your day going? Shout out to you. What does that say? Crazy gaming. Shout out to you. Shout out to the chat. Gratitudes. So, like I was saying, right? Got into a little point of, I'll call hiccup. Right? I got into a little point of a hiccup. Because at certain moments, again, I put it in position, right? Lay the groundwork for me to have certain things, to go certain places, to be able to accomplish life and how I see it, how I want to see it, how I want to enjoy it, how I want to be a part of it, right? And again, does life go according to plan? Right? Does life always sit in the palm of your hand to go exactly the way you want it, when you want it, how you want it, and it because you wanted it? Right? Depends on who you are. Can I say that? Is that fair to say? Depends on who you are. Depends on who you know. Depends on how much you can take or you can fight for, right? Because again, in my reality, what I see on a day to day, everything is available, right? Everything is obtainable. Only thing left is you individually deciding, taking a chance of choice to go in, to figure out, to plan, to take action, and to deliver, right? Now, as it would go, you would think and you would want positivity, right? You would think and you would want absolution. You would think and you would want your characteristics, right? The morals, the goals to be like minded, right? And you thinking, taking action to make sure that you are settled and situated in the right company, in the right presence, right? So that certain opportunities would be able to unfold, begin, and be accomplished, right? To me, that's just common sense, right? That's just logics. That's just the way it should go. What you want, you have to first be. Therefore, everything around you, everybody around you, will be just that. All right, the same energy, the same mind, the same frequency, the same positivity, the same influence, all right, the same matter of dedication. Where am I going with it, right? What's the point? What's the method to the madness of what I'm saying, right? Get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. The point is, as I said yesterday, right? Life is life. And life can be life, right? And you have to do those check-ins. You have to. You have to check in to make sure that everything is still going according to plan, according to decision, according to choice, right? Especially when you're involved, right? When it's you, when it's your life, when you've put in energy into something, when you put in time into something, when you put money into something, when you've put in focus into something, right? This is a part of you. This is a part of your life. This is a part of what you've been doing. So it matters to do those check-ins, right? Because what happens when you don't get those check-ins? You get a lot of chaos, right? You get a lot of what's going on. You get a lot of, am I doing the right thing? Was this supposed to happen? What's going on? What's next? Wait a minute, hold up, recalibrate. Even still then, what happened? Right? There's just a little bit of a lot that can go on without consistency and check-ins for your life, right? Now that's just the basics of it. The check-ins for your life. You as an individual doing the check-ins for your life. Why? Believe it or not, right? If you're not doing those check-ins for your life, does the check-ins, right? Does the data, does the notifications still go unnoticed, unnoted, unchecked, or unobserved? No, they do not. They do get monitored. They do get checked. They do get observed. They do have a place of category, right? Why? Because you have those that are called and considered family, right? You have those that are called and considered friends, right? You have those that are called and considered lovers, partners, right? So when you look at it, right, it's fair to say, if you're not doing the check-ins, best believe someone is doing the check-ins, right? Somebody's tabulating, writing the notes, right? And again, just to be fair, right? Just to be fair, we always want the positivity, we always want the good versus the negative, right? But do we always get that? So, if someone else is doing the check-ins for you, are they always going to get it right? Are they always going to get it precise? Are they always going to put in those, some will say, minor details that are and hold realistic value to the situation, the cause, the purpose, or even the person, right? Because at times, you have to look at certain things and you have to ask real questions, right? And we can only go by what is heard or what is being shown, right? Because our proof, as proof goes, outside of what's being heard or what's being shown, right? Can one gather proof outside of that? So, if someone is showing something, right? If someone is taking certain actions, you gotta collaborate and tabulate and put it on note of notice, right? Something that was done. Likewise, something's being said, that's being noted, right? That's being tabulated up, that's being filed because it was said, right? Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but it was something that was being said. And one thing that I have learned, no matter what, through life, no matter who I talk to, no matter if I knew them for a long time or if I just met them, right? People say certain things for a reason. Know that. Let me say it again. People say certain things for a reason, right? Because you have to think about it. Look at it. Just hear me out. Hear me out, right? If someone is constantly talking about ice cream, if someone is constantly talking about needing to find work, if someone is constantly talking about they can't wait to get out of their relationship that they feel stuck in, don't you gotta put it on, okay, I heard you. You said it. It must be for a reason, right? You're saying that you like ice cream, that you love ice cream, that you could go on and on about the different flavors of ice cream and how good it makes you feel. Then that kind of adds to the factors that you must really like ice cream, right? Or if you're constantly talking about you need to find work because there's no jobs around, and no matter how many applications you put in, no matter how many interviews you go to, you just can't seem to find a job, right? So you have to put it into factor that, yeah, maybe that person really is out there looking for work and they really can't find a job, right? It's the last one I said, right? Because we go bring it all on the table, right? We throwing everything on the table today, right? No holding back, right? If a person is constantly talking about being stuck with someone that they don't want to be with, then you gotta put it on the factor that what? They don't want to be with that person, right? They keep talking about it. They keep saying it. So, gotta be true. Gotta be somewhere in there fact, right? And so why I say, people say certain things for a reason, right? And we gotta keep that on the table, right? Because asking the question, right? Asking the question. If you are, say, in a happy relationship, right? Why would you drag the relationship in saying that you tired of it and you feel stuck if it's not true? That doesn't make sense, right? Does that make sense? No, it really doesn't make sense. Yet, could that happen? Right? Could somebody actually be happy in something but at the same time complaining about it, even though there's nothing wrong? Right? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing the question out there. Right? I'm just throwing the question out there. Right? So, again, keep it focused to what's being said and what's being done. Right? Because likewise, people are saying things and it's kind of obvious because they keep talking about it, then it must be somewhere along the lines of truth, at least for them, right? And if people are doing things, right, consistently, then you gotta say the same thing, right? That's them. That's what they want to do. That's who they are, right? So I'm trying to figure out the right word here. Hold on, I got stuck. So my initial reasoning for bringing this up is hypocrisy, right? Hypocrites, right? Because one of the things that, with everything going on in the world today, right? There's so many things that is going on in today's world, right? In our own individual lives, in our own individual homes. On top of that, we got the whole world, right? We got our cities, we got our states, we got our countries, right? And everybody's individually going through stuff. Likewise, everybody is groupfully, right, in wholes, in groups, right? People are going through stuff. So with all of that, the good, the bad, the ugly, the black, the white, the colors, right? You mixing all of that up together. Me, right? Me being me. I'm standing and I'm looking at life, right? And why certain things happen the way that certain things happen. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed that a lot, at least me, right? Me, I haven't come across people that are talking about this. Hypocrites, right? People that are hypocrites. We're not talking about that. Yet this is one of the biggest issues that I see, right? To answer to what and why life is the way life is right now. We're dealing with a lot of hypocrites, right? And it's one of the things that's really confusing for me, right? Because on one side, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I do feel a little bad, right? Sometimes I do feel a little way about it, like, dang, maybe they just can't help themselves, right? Maybe, just maybe, this is the way that they see they're only able to access some form or part of happiness, some form or part of pleasure, some form of part that says, okay, I can live with this, right? I can deal with this. I can go about life, and even though I'm still frustrated, still know that I'm not getting fulfilled, I'm getting something. So I'll settle with that, right? Because I've gotten to a place in my life where, hey, I haven't found nothing else that could top this one. So I'm going to stay there, right? So yeah, certain times I do feel a little bad because of that. Right? That's just me. I'm working on it. I'm working on it as we speak because one of my issues, and I'm not ashamed to say it, used to, right? But it's definitely one of my issues. I care too much. Right? I really just care too much. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely been my downfall. And I've said that before, right? I've spoke of it before. Me caring, it's definitely been my downfall. Why? Because at certain times, right, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has issues. Everybody has hangups. Everybody gets hiccups. And that's okay. We're here to learn. We're here to improve. We're here to allow certain things to be natural, right? And once we get in that place of allowing certain things to be natural, we can decipher, okay, this is not necessarily for me. this is. So let me sway this way, right? And as we naturally grow and accumulate what is for us and what isn't for us, it's just gonna go effortlessly, right? But if you have, say, certain issues, right? You have certain pains, right? You have certain traumas, right? You've been through life, and let's be real, it ain't been easy. It's been kind of hard, right? And when you look up, it doesn't feel encouraging when you don't have support, right? Genuine support. And when we're honest with it, we know when we're getting genuine support, right? We know when we go out in the world, express, do, or say something, and someone else sees it, expresses accommodation. I see you. You're working hard. Keep at it. Don't give up. I know you're tired. But guess what? You still got it. I'm tired. Let's motivate each other to say, yeah, we still tired, but we can still do it. Support, right? Hey, I see that you need a little extra hand. Let me help you out. Support, right? I see that you are going through some situations. I see that the money's a little shaky. I don't necessarily have it, but the little I do have, let me share. Genuineness, right? When we have that in life, we know. We know. Right? Just like we know when we got those that are around us and they're not really supportive. They're really not genuine. And they only say come around. Because what's that little phrase? Misery loves company. Right? They're not necessarily doing too good. They hope that you're not. So they come around. And if you are just so happen to be at a good spot and place, won't they? Not purposefully at times, but won't they or can't they just suck from you? And if you're not careful, the next thing you know, now you feeling sad. Now you feeling hurt. Now you feeling discombobulated. Now you wondering what's going on. But just minutes ago, you was fine, you was cool, you was at ease, right? So when we have certain people in our lives that are going through issues, right? If we're really genuinely supportive, or if we're genuinely a person that cares, we will offer help, right? We will offer the help if you're willing to take it, right? But even then, there has to be a line that's drawn, right? Why? Because at certain times, we have to accept the facts that, yeah, we can go through life and really do things the right way, right? We really can go about life in a decent manner. And it's not gonna make everything perfect. It's not gonna make everything a-okay. It's not gonna check off everything as good, done, or complete. Right? Certain times we're still gonna get the hiccups. Certain times we're still gonna get the no's. Certain times we're still gonna go through the ups and downs, right? It's life. Yet, again, you have to keep in mind that just like you, just like her, just like him, just like me, we all have choices, right? We all have choices. And we all make decisions and we all go about our life with those choices and decisions, right? Now, I'm not talking about children, right? I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about those that are quote unquote considered adults, right? 30s and up. You considered an adult once you get 30, right? You just, hey, you're 30 years old. You an adult now. You're not a child no more. You're not a teenager. You're not a youngster. You an adult now, right? So, as an adult, again, it's not to say you're perfect. You're gonna know everything. You're gonna know where to go and how to do it and how to get it. No, you still might need help, right? Still might need support, right? But now you are accountable. You're an adult. So you're accountable for what you do, for what you say, or for what you don't do, right? And the mix match that happens is certain people can maybe feel obligated, right? At certain times, certain people can feel, well, maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they need just a little extra help. Maybe they need just a little extra hand. And again, everybody's different. Everybody's growth, everybody's mind moves at a different pace. Some people do need the extra help versus others do not need the extra help, right? But we cannot willingly say we're helping when you know you're sabotaging. Let me say that again. You, as a person, cannot say that you are helping when you know you are sabotaging. And what do I mean by that? For example, you have a sister. She's 30 years old. She has a job. She has her own car. She has her own apartment. She's living her life, right? She just so happens to get with a guy, right? And as we all can know, right, it's easier to see on the outside than it is to see on the inside, right? So for her, she thinks she's good. But on the outside, people are looking and thinking and saying, I don't know. I don't know, right? But we have to allow her to live her life, have her experience, and for her to accept when enough is enough, or if something isn't right, or if something is right, right? We have to allow that. So you do. Then the next thing you know, you get a call. Heartbreaking call, right? Not only is your sister's dude cheating on her, starts beating her. She's scared. She's hurt. She doesn't know what to do, right? So you help, right? Any way you can. You allow her to stay with you, right? You give her some extra money so she can move, right? You maybe even might be, say, the brother that's willing to talk to the dude. See where his mind's at, right? Hey, it can happen, right? By the way, you still go help, go to support. Now, 5 minutes later, maybe not literally, but 5 minutes later, she right back with dude. Right back. So what do? right? Then happens again. She calls you again. Same issue, right? You help her again, but she goes back, right? Then maybe she calls, say that, certain things are happening. She can't make rent, or next thing you know, she's calling. She's like, hey, you got an extra couple of bucks and I need some gas. And she is saying things that makes you weary, right? And because you care, because you love, that's your sister. You're going to go help. You're going to go support. You're going to go do anything you can, right? Now, is that helping or is that sabotaging? And that's my point, right? It's not right. It hurts. That's your family. That's your sister. Don't do that to my sister. What's wrong with you? How dare you, right? Yet, if she's going back, same thing keeps happening. Where do you draw the line to stop? You're like, okay, look, that's my sister. I love her, but hey, she must really like it. She must really want it. She keeps going back. I'm literally helping her get out of the situation. Right? I'm not just talking to her. I'm not just telling her, hope you figure it out. I'm literally helping her get out of the situation. But she keeps going back. Right? So it gets to the point of, and I'm bringing back the point of hypocrisy. Right? At certain times, we might not want to be a hypocrite, but certain times we got to look at what we're doing, what we're saying, and what we're allowing to happen, right? And it might not be nice to us, but if it fits, you got to point that finger and say, maybe I am being a hypocrite, right? Maybe, just maybe, because I'm condoning, even though it is from a place of truth and sincerity, I'm not really helping, right? Because how is that helping, right? Let's get to that point of message, right? How is you doing something such as that helpful, right? Likewise, condoning or adding into lies, right? Condoning or adding into theft, right? Condoning or adding into misdirection, right? It all boils down into the same thing of hypocrisy, of liars, of theft, right? Of immoral imbalance, really, of immoral balance. I gotta say that the right way. Immoral balance, right? Because you're on one side, the helping the sister, right, who's going with the issues with her dude, that's from a good place, right? It might not be right, especially when you see that they keep going back and you still keep helping. It's like, okay, where's this gonna end, right? It still came from a good place. But let's flip it, right? Let's flip it and let's say you helping your sister cheat, right? And let's say that the dude she's with is really a good, decent dude, right? Goes to work, doesn't cuss her out, doesn't call her her name, doesn't hit her, very respectful, shares what he has, she has, right? Adores her. Yet your sister's like, he's too on me. He cares about me too much. He loves me too much. I can't handle that. I need to go find me somebody who could just, break it in a couple of times. I don't need all the love and all the caring. So the sister, she out, she doing her, right? And you helping, you condoning, right? Your sister's man calls you, hey, I wondered about your sister. I haven't heard from her. You heard from her? Oh, no, she good. She over there. She at work. Her phone went out. I talked to her right before, right? You really going in to help your sister cover up what she's doing, right? And I'm just using this as an example, right? Because it's something that happens in life. I know for sure, right? Personally, right? But it's bigger than me, right? It's the totality of how people think, right? It doesn't have to be your sister. It could be your neighbor, right? It doesn't have to be your neighbor. It could be your boss, right? It doesn't matter who the person is, really. When they're family or friends, people love to give the excuse of that. Oh, well, they're my family, or well, they're my friends. Of course, I'm going to cover for them. And while I'm on that, let me just speak on that real quick, right? Family and friends are the two groups of people that really you will hope is genuine, right? You would hope is sincere, right? The love from a family, especially. You would hope is genuine and you would hope is sincere. But I'm speaking for me, for myself, right? If I do something that is wrong, I'm not going to ask you to cover for me. That's wrong. You wasn't there. You don't know what I was doing. You don't know why I did it. If I'm going to do it again, why am I going to put you in my business? Right? Especially if I know I'm doing something wrong, right? Where it could lead to, say, trouble. Right? Where it could lead to you, say, spending some time in jail. Why would I do that? If you're my family, I'm supposed to love you. Why would I harm you in that way? You have your own life. But because I'm messing up, because I'm doing some crazy outlandish things, because I want to come up in a certain way, because I want to have a certain look, I'm doing what I'm doing. But again, what are you getting out of it? Where's the benefit from you? You're covering up just because you're my family, because you love me? Like, gratitudes, right? But no, no, no. But you have that though, right? You have those that will do just that. They're doing some of the most craziest things, dirtiest things, unlawfully things. And the next thing you know, on a random spread of a moment, you get a text or call, hey, cover for me. I was with you. Huh? What? What? Don't say yeah, and then the next thing you know, you get a barraged with a whole bunch of charges, right? That you can't even explain because, again, you wasn't there. Now, how are you going to cover yourself, right? How are you going to take care of yourself? How are you going to make sure that you don't get in trouble for some things that you didn't do, but the only thing you did do was say, oh, okay, that was true, they were there, or that is right, that is wrong. Now you in trouble. Now you got charges because you condoned to something, because you said yes to something.
because you co-signed to something. Because you agreed, because you family, I'm going to be there for you no matter what, through thick and thin. Right? People do this. People do this. And then they expect it. But you my family. But you my baby. But you my wife. But you my husband. You supposed to cover for me. You supposed to have my back. Yet and still, right? For all of that, family doesn't really have too much to do with it, right? Could take it or you could leave it. Friends could not have nothing much to do with it. You could take it or you could leave it. The only one that you could really give an example that could or should have your back like that would be your partner, right? Would be your husband, would be your wife, right? Yet you are behind the scenes getting in trouble. You behind the scenes fucking off. You behind the scenes stealing stuff. You behind the scenes manipulating. You behind the scenes just doing just about everything you could think of, right? And now corners are cut, doors are slammed shut, all hell's about to break loose, and now you what? Just have that expectation you gotta cover for me because we in this together. But again, was it a we when you was doing something, right? Was it still a we? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's what I'm talking about. The hypocrisy, the lies. Why? Right? Why? Because how I see it, if you are going to be so bold to do something, right? Again, we're talking about adults here, right? 30 and up, 30 and up, 30 and up. We're talking about adults. If you're so bold to do something, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, you're so bold to do something. No, if it's something that you're going to get in trouble for, don't run behind me. Don't run behind your family. Don't run behind your friends. No, face it. Accept it. Take the charge. Take the punishment. Take the acknowledgement that you did it and something blew up in your face. And what? You don't want that to happen because not everybody's going to know what type of person you really are. But the illusion's gone, so now everybody, yeah, you might have seen that person and there was all smiles and happy faces and giggles and just the friendliest person that you could ever think of, right? But then when it comes down to it, when certain things hit the fan because you already did too much, why can't people really know who you are? Why do you gotta continue to hide? Now just because you're gonna get in trouble. Or now it's gonna be truthfully noted that you say are a person that will steal. Right? Why are you trying to still hide it? Because at the end of the day, right, what they like they say, what's done in the dark will come into the light. So it's like, how long do you really want or plan on hiding something? Again, no matter what it is. If you did it, own it, accept it, right? It's one of the things that I just don't understand why I keep and will keep speaking about liars and hypocrites, right? Because it's not going to make anything better. when you're misleading someone, when you're lying to someone, when you're stealing from someone, admitting it is not, and I repeat, is not gonna make it better. It's not gonna change and all of a sudden, happy, happy, hug, hug, kiss, kiss. You stole from me, you lied to me, you cheated on me, and now that you told me, all's forgiven, everything's good now, we can move forward. No, no, that's not the way that is going to go, right? It's not gonna make it better. It's not gonna wipe away what was done. The point of accepting and holding accountability for what you've done is just that. Own accountability for what you did. Because again, it's all to the good. You're so willing, everybody, right? I'm not just pinpointing a particular person. I'm speaking on everybody, right? It's all to the good, right? Any and everyone can speak about the good that they did, right? Or I helped somebody today. I gave some canned goods to some elderly people. I did some community service. I helped my family because they really needed the help with some money because you know they got the kids and everything. Like we'll talk about everything under the sun that we did that was positive, right? That will be accepted up front as positive and as good accounts, right? But let it be something that's not good, something that should not be accredited, right? Because you know people are gonna look at you a certain way, right? You don't say that stuff. You don't mention that. You will work double time to try to hide it that you then you actually put in the energy to do the thing. You put it in more energy to cover up and hide the fact that you did it. So my whole thing about it is if you got to go through all that, why are you even doing it? Because does that make sense? You putting in all this time and this energy to do something, you would think that you want to exploit it. Like, look at what I did. Look, that was me. I did it. But you're gonna hide it? You're covering it up? Why? 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 I don't understand. Right? Especially, right, when you say let's say you get a chance, right, of choice. You get offered the chance of choice to admit it, right? You get asked a question to see if you did it. Now here's your chance to shine, right? Again, is it gonna make you look good if you admit to what you did? No, right? Especially because you've been hiding it. So not only did you do it, but you've been hiding it. Now I finally asked you, say, years down the line, and you finally admit to it. That's really not gonna make it any better, right? But the chance of choice, you was given the option, you was given the opportunity to make the change, to release the pressure that has been building up inside of you. Because am I off? But if you holding in something, if you hiding something, doesn't that hold a weight? Doesn't that hold a pressure? Doesn't that make you, say, irritated? Doesn't that make you frustrated? Right? And so if anything, just having the ability to release it. Say, you know what? I've been holding this in for so long and it's not going to make you feel good. And it's definitely not going to make me feel good. But I need to release it. I need to tell the truth. I need to tell the truth. Right? I need to tell the truth. But again, Do we have that kind of life where people know that they're grown, know that they're adults? Let's go with adults versus grown because that's a whole nother category, right? Because when you're grown, you got to take accountability. But when you're an adult, right, what's the problem? What's the issues? Right? Why can't adults be adults? And see, this is the thing too that doesn't make sense to me, right? How people willingly lie about themselves, right? Yet, with time, right, with time, evidence will be there, right? The evidence will be there because of what? Show and proof, right? Because anybody can lie, right? And if you are one that likes to stay low level, yeah, you're gonna lie. Yeah, you're gonna be sneaky. Yeah, you're gonna hide. Yeah, you're gonna steal. Yeah, you're gonna cheat. Right? Yeah, you're gonna dog out and be greedy. Right? If you're at a lower level mindset. Right? But when you're a grown person, right, you're at a higher mindset. So certain things just off rip are not gonna be done. Certain things off rip are not gonna be condoned. Right? And then even if that, right? Because everybody's different. Maybe certain things could still happen, but hey, that accountability is gonna be there. I did it. Yeah. Well, it's like, damn, don't you know that what you did makes you look like a piece of shit? Like, yeah, I know that that makes me look like a piece of shit, but I still did it. Yeah. Right? Like, what happened to that? What happened to that? What happened to the fact of being honest with yourself, to yourself, and for yourself to allow yourself to just be free to live your life as who you are, right? Because if you're a good person, then you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in public or if you're doing it in private. You're just gonna be a good person, right? If you are a person that likes to steal, no matter if you do it in public or no matter if you do it in private, that's who you are. You're a person that steals. Right? But the issue comes into play because we have so many people that know who they are, right? They know who they are. The problem is they want to trick and to deceive others. So yeah, again, lower mindset, you will lie, you will trick, you will deceive, you will manipulate, right? Because if you want something good, right, you're going to work for it. Yet, if you're a person that likes to deceive and manipulate, you're going to cover up the fact that you're a deceiver and manipulator, right? You're going to plaster on the happy face, right? You're going to be friendly, and you're going to get around people that are hardworking, right? That are good and decent, and you're going to get what you can from them. Just period, right? Just like those that steal. Do people that steal, or do they go around people that don't have nothing? Or do they go around people that have something? Right? Right? And then again, are you going to say that? Because you want what they got, right? That's the whole point of why you're being friendly. Why you want to come over to the house. Why you want to go on a lunch date with them. right? Why you want to go kick it? Why you want to spend time? Why you want to get to know? Because you're trying to steal, right? And then if you tell them that, oh well, I'm a thief, just straight up, don't leave nothing around me because I'll probably steal it from you. Then people are not gonna come around, right? People are not gonna invite you over to their house, right? People are not gonna want to be friendly and socialize and allow you to get to know them, or especially what they have, because they know that you're a thief and you're gonna steal it. Cause you said it. You was honest, but you said it. You're a thief. So yeah, it's not gonna clash. It's not gonna connect. It's not going to work, right? Likewise with any and everything else that you can think about. If you do something that contradicts, say, what you're trying to be around, then you're definitely gonna lie about it. Because how else are you gonna win? How else are you gonna get something if you're telling the truth? So yeah, you automatically become a hypocrite. You automatically become a liar, willingly or unwillingly, right? Because you personally want something to be, or you want to accomplish, and you're not trying to do it or gain it or to experience it in a logical, natural way. You're trying to cheat. You're trying to manipulate. You're trying to gain something that may or may not be for you, but you see it, but you want it, right? And you feel like, okay, I gotta have it, so I'm gonna go lie, I'm gonna go cheat, I'm gonna go steal, right? So it gets to that point, like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense, right? Will people ever be honest, sincere, and real to who they are, right? And as I will see it, as I have been seeing it, right? If you're gonna use something against someone, then yeah, probably not. You're not gonna be honest. You're not gonna be true. You're not gonna be real. You're gonna continue to lie for as long as you can until you can no longer get away with it, and then you're gonna move to the next person, group, or crowd that doesn't know you, right? That doesn't know that you are a habitual liar, right? That doesn't know that you're a kleptomaniac theft, right? That doesn't know that you're a chronic cheater, doesn't know that you are a person that will literally beat up someone to the point of putting them in the hospital, to the point of almost ending their life, right? If you're that type of person, then yeah, you're gonna cover up, you're gonna hide, you're gonna lie, you're gonna be in the cut, you're gonna be in the corner, especially when they find out that that's who you are, right? And you're gonna wait the time out, you're gonna move some things around until you can relocate and find a whole nother group of people that don't know exactly who you are, and thus the whole cycle is going to be repeated, right? Now I'm saying all of that to get to this point right here. This is the whistleblower, right? This is the final point to the method of my message, right? If you see something, if you know something, what do you do? Right? If you see something, if you know something, what do you do? Because me, right, which is again the point of my message, right? When I see something, when I hear something, when I know something, right? Playing my role accordingly, which is if it's not directly hitting me, it's a 50-50 of me getting involved, right? Because it's not directly hitting me. Yet, and still, even with that, if it's not directly linked to me, if it's something that is hurting or harming someone, yeah, I'm going to take notice. Yeah, I'm going to make it a point of, do you need help? Do you need support? Do I need to speak up and say something? Right? Because maybe I can't do something, but maybe somebody else can. Right? Because at a time as it is right now, so much things are getting and being hidden and covered up. Right? And if you know something, especially when it comes to, let's go with something realistic, but very detrimental, right? If you know something about someone hurting or harming children, doesn't matter if they're yours or not, that should be a red alarm alert. Something ain't right. Somebody needs to do something. There's children that are being hurt and harmed, being in a situation that they do not deserve to be in. These are children, right? Somebody needs to speak up. Everybody should be speaking up when it comes to children. Again, whether they're yours or not. You don't have to directly contact them, but you can directly contact somebody and say, I see something really foul going on and is involving children. Please help. Right? But people don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. People want to shake it off, turn a blind eye, look and walk the other way. Right? And this is children we're talking about. Right? Children cannot protect themselves. Children cannot shelter themselves. Children are unable to detect what is harmful and what is not danger. They don't logically grasp that yet. So everybody, all adults, all grown people should be at a stature of status to say, not if I'm around, not if I see it, not if I heard it. I don't care if they're not my children. I'm going to do something. I'm going to say something. I'm going to make sure that this is not going to happen again. Right? But again, does that always happen? And if we're not, as adults, taking the time to put that on notice, to make sure that that at least is handled with care, is handled, period, to make sure that certain things are not happening at all, no more, then yeah, all other things is going to be easily overlooked or bypassed, right? Because if they're not children, then they're, like I said, they're adults, right? And as adults, we have choices. We make decisions. As an adult, yeah, it might be a little hectic sometimes, especially if you're a woman, right? But we can protect ourselves, right? If we're adults, men and women can protect themselves. So certain little things like you getting stolen from, or you getting cheated on, or you getting beat, yeah, it's hurtful. Yeah, you might want to help. But if that, but then you're going to allow children to be mishandled, abused, where is your heart? Where is your common sense? Where are your morals? Because again, right, we might not want to accept it, we might not want to admit it, but at certain times we gotta say it, right? We get into situations that we can get into as adults because we made that choice. We knew we shouldn't have been over there. We knew we shouldn't have been in that relationship. We knew we shouldn't have said what we said or done what we done, but we did it. So yeah, certain actions of domino effects will come to play, right? And we gotta handle that. We gotta deal with it. Why? Because we made that choice. We made that decision. But again, flipping it, how are we helping grow adults? I keep trying to stay grown, but we gotta keep that to the minimum, right? How are we helping adults, but we're not helping children? Like, if anything, it should be the other way around. We're helping the children, and the adults gotta take care of themselves, right? But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my mind. Maybe that's just my logic. But it doesn't make sense to me, though, right? It just doesn't make sense. And that's why, again, I'm saying it. Hypocrites and liars. Can we get rid of them? Right? Can we get rid of hypocrites and liars? Because it's like, how much is going to happen? How much is going to go down? How much is going to be bled out into the world for people to take? Right? And then not only that, you have that on top of the fact of, say that you do have someone out there, right, that is seeing that there's some crazy things going on, right? And even though it might put you in harm's way, you still willing to speak out, still willing to speak out, still willing to say put your life on the line because you see that there's some wrong things going on, and if nobody else is gonna say or do something about it, I will. Hey, because that is me. If nobody else is gonna say something or do something about it, I will. Because there's certain things that shouldn't be done, shouldn't be allowed, right? And then that's where it blows my mind because you will say something, right? And you're supposed to say something to certain people when certain things of law are broken, right? But then they don't want to pay you no never mind, right? They don't literally want to hear you out. They look at you as though you are absolutely crazy and you should just walk out the door. Like I didn't even hear what you just said, right? And it's like, how did you not? Because for some, you saw it, right? And that's the thing. You saw it. A lot of people see shit, right? My bad, I'm getting a little frustrated. Let me pull back. But it's the truth, right? Certain people see things all the time. And certain people will allow certain things to just be or happen because let's go with the main reason why, because somebody paid somebody. Shh. You didn't see it, you didn't hear it. Here's a couple of hundred. Here's a couple of thousand. I don't know how much y'all getting, right? I don't know. But certain people are getting cashed out though. To right? And then you got other people that they don't need no money, they just need a good time, right? They need some pound time. Pound them out. And they'll keep all of what you're doing on hush hush, right? Because it's always one of the two, ain't it? Ain't it sad? People will lie, trick, manipulate, and deceive others because they either got some money or because they ended up having sex. To keep it mildly, right? Pound town time, right? Get it in, right? It's always one of the two. You either paying somebody or you getting a little quickie. And so much can be overlooked and bypassed, right? And then some like having fun with it, right? And keeping certain things going, right? Asking for extra little favors, right? Like it's a lot that does happen and that will happen in life. That's really crazy, right? Certain things will happen in life that is really crazy. And I'm gonna say it, right? It's probably nobody else will. This is why the world is so corrupt now, right? Because we do have those liars. We do have those manipulators. We do have those deceivers, right? We do have those that steal. We do have those that beat. We do have those that cheat, right? And all that has to be done is either giving some money or promised a good little quickie, right? Or should we say fulfill a good little quickie, and certain things are gonna get overlooked. But let it happen to you, right? Let it happen to you though. Let it happen to you. Let you be the one that gets stolen from. Or let you be in the one with the relationship and you think that everything is going good, but then you come to find out that you've been getting cheated on this whole time. And your dude or your woman has been having babies that's not yours. Let you find that out. Right? Now the tables are gonna be turned. Now everybody gotta pay attention. Everybody gotta shake it up. Everybody need to snitch. Everybody need to talk. Who did what? When did it happen? Why did you allow it to happen? How come nobody told me? But you was covering up. You was hiding, and you was participating in the other person's that was doing the very same thing. Right? So now, why are you mad? Because the script had got flipped on you. Right? Because people can't take that one, right? They could do it, they could dish it out, but they can't take it, right? You can do the most hurtful, disgusting, or evil acts to another person. You can do that. But let somebody do it to you. And it's not right. It's not fair. Right? Somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to get revenged on. And it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You been sneaky. You been doing dirt for years. People been covering for you for years. Like, can't you take one for the game? Take one for the team. Now you got. Now you know what it feels like to be stole from, to be lied to be cheated on. To think that you had a family that's not yours. Now you know what it's like. Now you know how it feels. No, don't take out no acts of revenge. No, don't sit there and cry. Right? Get right back up and go about your life. Maybe, right? Maybe you would think a person that has done so much dirt, that has just gone through the craziest extremes, treating people extremely undeserving. And it finally happens to you, right? It finally happens to you. But again, all hell breaks loose. Now you seeking out revenge. How? Again, you can't take what you dish out. For real. You can't take what you dish out, huh? So why do you dish it out? I'm speaking truth. Why do people that dish out certain things can't take it when it comes back to them? Because doesn't it come back? Like, that's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I had to digress. Right? I had to think about some things. I had to calm myself down. Right? Because, again, speaking my mind of the truth of what I see, right? Speaking from experience. The real of the real, right? Taking off all sugar coat, take off all the good, right? Everything's peachy cream, because it's not, right? For me personally, right? That's just who I am. I'm a happy, carefree person, no matter what. Yet, does that mean that there's not some crazy, fucked up things that are happening? I'm just saying, right? Because there is. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it because I keep getting stopped, right? Why do I keep getting stopped when all I'm trying to do is trying to point the key factors of what something is, right? I'm trying to point the direction to say, hey, you looking, let me help you out. It's right here. It's right here, right? I know where it's at. It's right here. You're looking for the source. I know where the source is. Let me help you get to the source. So that finally, some things can be turned around, right? Because certain people have been getting away with things for way too long, right? For way too long. For way too long. And it makes me think to wonder, if you're supposed to be there to help support change, right? If you're supposed to be there to help and to make sure that certain things don't go down, right? As duty, then why aren't you trying to help? It makes me think that you're overlooking something because you may, right? You may be involved. Because look at the common sense of it, right? Why would you condone something that's not right? If you are put in a position to stop what's being done that's not right. Does that make sense? If you're put in a position to help out people to make things right, to keep things in order of conduct, then why aren't you doing, where is the action? Why are you shutting your ears and your eyes to the obvious fact that somebody is helping, right? Somebody is trying to help change to make things right where they were wrong. Why aren't you allowing it to be done, right? Why are you allowing to keep the illusion, right? Why are you allowing the corruption to still unfold? You got to be involved, right? Common sense. If you see it, you know it, but you're not trying to change it, or at least go to the right people that will change it, then you got to be involved, right? You got to be involved, right? So it makes that point of where do you go from here, right? How do you deal with certain things, right? Do you just say, oh, well, says I tried, right? I tried. I tried to help out. I tried to continue to push out the right effect, right? But if nobody else is willing to help, if everyone is still willing to do the same shit that's going to keep the corruption, then dang, does that mean I gotta stop? Does that mean I gotta hush? Because ain't nothing changing, right? No matter what I do, no matter what I say, everything keeps going on as it has been. So you go to the point of, dang, maybe I am just hitting my head against the wall, right? So at a last attempt, right? At a last attempt, I'm still speaking out about it, right? For in hopes that certain people will hear it and they will say, you know what? There are some things in my life that I'm seeing that's not right, that shouldn't be done, that shouldn't be upheld. Maybe I should see if I could do anything more to make sure that it doesn't continue. Because if I'm living in that neighborhood, if I'm a part of this culture and there's some corruption, I don't want to be a part of the corruption. I don't want to be that, what is it? Birds of a feather flock together, right? We in the same community. I'm not doing what you do, but we in the same community, and then come to find out everybody in the community doing some corruption. Where do you go from there? What do you do, right? You gotta leave, obviously, right? But don't you try to help? Don't you try to at least extend that hand to say, I see where the change is needed. Here's my support. I'm here, right? They asking for help. They want the help. They want people to fight for what's right. At least that's what they say. And then when they come out, when you start seeing those people announce themselves, why is everybody turning a blind eye? Why is everybody turning away? Right? So, with that, I'm going to say this. When you can, keep standing firm, right? When you can, always and always stand true to the truth. When you see something wrong, speak your voice. Let it be heard. Try, right? Try to make that change. Try to have that impact around you for you, and most especially when you have children. And if you see that you're surrounded by corruption, right? And you see that you are trying to make the effort to steer clear of it and also try to help that change, but you still keep getting butted with the wall, that headbutt with the wall, do everything in your power to get away from it. Because it will swallow you up alive. Real facts, right? And no matter what, the next person says, when you know that you in particular are standing up and making a choice for change in all ways that you can, it doesn't matter who else knows what you did or what you tried to do or what you attempted to do or what almost worked out or what almost didn't work out. You know it and you keep doing it. Even and most especially when you do get into that, wow, am I even making some type of attention? Right? Am I making some type of noise with all this noise that's going on in the world? Am I making my noise loud enough to where somebody sees and helps? Help, 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 help. Right? Help. Don't just say that you're going to help, really help. Don't just pacify people, really support them. If you see somebody's going through something and they're really at their wits' end, do what you can to help them. But if you can't, do not find yourself in that situation to criticize, right? Because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through. And maybe you don't have to go through it, right? Maybe you had your mind on right and you had the support in your corner to where you didn't have to go through certain trials or tribulations in life, but they had to. That is not to dictate of whether or not a person is value. Everybody is of value. Everybody is of value, right? The sad part about it is, through time and over time, that essence of value has got distinguished, has gotten watered down, right? So yeah, it's a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter in certain people, but everybody has value. Everybody has value. Everybody has a point to be cherished. No one should have to experience homelessness. No one should have to experience being hungry. No one should have to experience being so torn down, spit up, spit out, no support, and there's an endless supply of it in every way that you can see possible. No one should have to experience that. Yet with life, through time, over time, people get it in their minds. People become hypocrites. People become liars. People become thefts, thieves, right? And when you allow certain things to continue to conduct over and over, and you have people that are pacifying the situation by lying or misleading or covering up for other people and what they do that they should not have been doing, right? You have an ever flow of what the hell, right? We got to stop certain things as a whole. We have to stop condoning certain things. We have to stop pacifying certain things. If people are so bold to do something, hear me, right? If nothing else throughout this video, if this is the only thing that is grasped, please grasp it, right? No one should be condoning anything that another person is doing. No one should be condoning anything that an adult is doing, especially when it's to manipulate, lie, and deceive another person, right? And then again, don't get in your feelings. Don't look for help when you are in the same situation that you had helped manifest, right? You did it for your family, you did it for your friend, you did it for your lover, and now it's being done to you. Don't look for support. Don't run and cover. Take the charge because it has to stop. This cycle of manipulation, of getting over, of doing things that's unmoral needs to stop. When is it going to stop? People are doing things continuously and thinking that it's okay because they have someone that is willing to condone or cover up for their stupid ass choices. Who cares if that's your family and they're gonna go to jail and spend 15 years in jail? Do you know what they did? Right? Do you know what they did? And then if you do know what they did, right? Just because they family, you're gonna get them out of it. Just because they family, you're gonna get them out of it. Well, payback is gonna come right back to you. I'm just saying. Payback is gonna come right back to you. And don't cry. Don't feel hurt. Don't feel bad. Again, don't even look for help. Take the charge. When it happens to you, take the charge. Take the charge fully. Own up to it. Take accountability so that the cycle will stop. Right? Because again, cycles. We have so many people that are creating families, or should I say, creating babies, and certain things keep repeating, right? You have broken families, right? You have women that get cheated on, lied to, beaten, stole from, but they stay with the man. They have children, and now their children are going through the same thing, right? But you don't understand why. Well, maybe it's because you was helping your brother cover up for the fact of all the evil that he was doing, right? Or the fact that you was covering up for your sister, or the fact that you was covering up from your auntie or your cousin, right? When you know it was wrong, you know it was wrong. So why do people get upset? Why do people get hurt? Because you have people that think it's okay, right? Mostly because, and let's be fair, you know something's wrong. Place. You know when certain things need to stop. More importantly, and especially if, say, you saw somebody in your family go through it, right? You know what it feels like to be cheated on. You know what it feels like to be stolen from. You know what it feels like to be lied to. Yet you are helping someone else do it. Whether it's your family, whether it's your friend, or whether it's even your children. Whether it's someone that you're with, right? You lie and cover up for them, and you know it's wrong, and you keeping it going. But you even know personally what it feels like to have that done to you. Why are you doing that to someone else? Right? And then it gets to that point where, yeah, it's not real, it's not realistic, but it is common, right? Hurt people. Because you got hurt, because you got stolen from, because you got cheated on, because you got manipulated, you're going to help any and everybody that you can cheat, lie, steal, and manipulate. And it's going to be okay because you had it done to you. Oh, I don't care. It happened to me, so what? Why shouldn't it happen to him? Oh, I don't care. I had to feel that hurt and that heartbreak, so why shouldn't she? I look better than her, but I still had to go through something. Why shouldn't she have to go through it? She don't look as good as me. She don't have as much as I have, right? And then we got that sick cycle of thoughts flowing through the atmosphere. Hurt people. And that's what happens, right? If you get hurt, you're going to hurt somebody else. And I'm here to say it. I'm standing firmly in it, right? I've had so much done to me through the years, over the years, that, oh, I can do it back. I can say I'm hurt and let me hurt because I've been hurt. Trust you me. Trust you me. I can do it too. But I effortlessly work in the opposite direction of that. Even though I was hurt, even though I know I've been through that and it stung, I'm not going to allow or to condone or to even think that it's funny if somebody else goes through what I go through or had to go through, right? I'm not going to put somebody in that same position to feel that sense of nothingness, that sense of worthiness, worthlessness, right? Because what does that make me? That makes me no better than the person that did it to me. So when it turns around, I can't get mad that somebody did it to me because I did it to somebody else, right? And so once I do it to somebody else, then it should be wiped away clean, right? It's just the one time. Whatever happened to me, I make sure that everybody, somebody else, whoever else, right, feels exactly what I felt. And now that that's done, now that that's over with, it's done, right? It's over with now, right? Now we can act right, right? Now we can have a sense of common sense, right? Now we can not only be of adult age, we can actually act like adults and even get to the point where we can say we're grown, right? But until then, right? Until then, until then. But anyways, I've been speaking too much. I've been talking too much. I've been definitely saying way too much, right? And so, with that being said, I'm going to slide on out. Gratitudes for any and everybody that came through, listen to the live message. Gratitudes for those that will click in on the replay, right? Shout out to everybody in the chat. I didn't really pay attention to the chat because I was really going in. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to you if I didn't see you in there. Appreciate you for sliding through. Shay, Crazy Game, Joshua, shout out to all of y'all. Peace, respect, life, love. Remember it, know it, own it, respect it, and always love yourself, appreciate yourself, respect yourself. Until the next time, peace. I'm out, yeah.